This noon, a convicted killer is facing the death penalty. A Hillsborough County judge sentenced Dante Morris to lethal injection for the cold-blooded murders of 2 Tampa police officers. We showed you that moment live on ABC Action News Now. Our Laura Harris was in the courtroom when that sentence was handed down. She joins us now from the Hillsborough County Courthouse. Good afternoon, Laura.
And Dia, you could hear a pin drop in the courtroom. The bailiff actually told everyone in there he didn't want to hear any type of emotion out loud when the judge handed down his sentence. And I can tell you, once he said Dante Morris was sentenced to death, they couldn't say anything out loud. Nobody could scream, nothing like that. But you saw tears rolling from family members' face. They were clutching each other's hands so tightly. I even saw one lady holding a picture of one of those officers as they listened to what the fate was of the man who murdered their family members.
That's count 1 for the first-degree premeditated murder of David Curtis. The court imposes a sentence of death. As to count 2 for the first-degree premeditated murder of Jeffrey Kokab, the court imposes a sentence of death.
And with that, Dante Morris is now on death row, walking out of the lives of those he tormented, those who lost because of his actions.
This has been an extremely long, hard, and trying 4 years.
And the families of officers Jeffrey Kokab and David Curtis can now, at least in some form, rest.
Our faith, our family, and our friends has helped to get us through this process.
As for the Tampa Police Department,
Jeff and Dave, they died as heroes. They died protecting those who can't protect themselves.
Deputy Chief Brian Dugan speaking for the men and women who give their lives to keep their community safe. It was just minutes after the sentencing he spoke to the media about their satisfaction with today's result, as the man who killed their own will die too.
This sentence was about justice. It wasn't about revenge.
TPD also taking to social media today, not just Facebook, but Twitter as well, in 140 characters or less, summing up the thoughts of a community who lost 2 brave men. The tweet read, "Although today we breathe a sigh of relief, our hearts still weep for Jeff and Dave. Hashtag gone, but never forgotten."
It is very comforting to know that our justice system has worked today.
And Dante Morris actually had at least a dozen people in the courtroom with him today, supporting him. I did ask them if they wanted to comment. They said no. Also important to note, Dante Morris was already serving a life sentence for another murder before we had this hearing today. He will also be going through and dealing with another 2 murder cases coming up at some point. But the judge says he just doesn't have time to deal with that this year. They're postponing that until next year. Live at the Hillsborough County Courthouse, Laura Harris, ABC Action News.